Hi everyone, Joe here back with another video, and this one is about a month late and a completely different topic than it was originally meant to be, because a lot of stuff has changed over the last couple of months and we need to sit down and have a talk about it, and boy has it changed. So let's get into it. First of all, I've recently had some scan results which showed things to be mostly stable, or basically stable, with the exception of there being a single nodule that is growing, the subcarinal or carinal node, which is about here-ish, bottom of your trachea where it splits off, and that's something that's just kind of, I guess, is more increased in resolution, so it's more visible. So they can definitely identify it. So it was spotted last scan, this scan, and they've looked at it and been like, yeah, it's that. Now, I was meant to have had surgery. I was meant to have been making a video, and I was meant to have this video talking about going under the knife again and having surgery. That was cancelled. So I was going to be having surgery. I was going to be having a nodule removed down here on the left-hand side of my neck, and it's the one that's kind of been sat there, not really doing a lot for a year or so, and then it looked like in the space of a couple of months it grew quite considerably. Now, as everyone knows who's been watching the channel for a while, when I had my neck dissection done on my left-hand side, I lost use of 50% of my vocal cords, and my left laryngeal nerve was removed, which really affected the quality of my voice. Well, here's an exciting thing. No, it didn't, and no, they didn't take it out. So I was told by my surgeon whilst recovering that the left laryngeal nerve was encased in cancer and had to be removed, and they cut it out and just went whoof, got it out. He said that he could have threaded it out, but it just would have sealed my neck with cancer, so he went, you know what, let's remove everything, get it out. I was scoped whilst in hospital, paralysed left vocal cord. Totally fine. It was paralysed, and it was paralysed open, because your vocal cords kind of like come in the middle and they flap back and forth like bellows basically, and the left hand side was open, and the right hand side, which would normally sit in its relaxed position here, was coming all the way over to the left hand side, which gave me a voice. And that was when I was in hospital. That was totally fine, and my voice was recovering and getting stronger, and it was really crap for weeks after, and it slowly improved. We just thought, that's my voice, that's what it's like. Obviously I had a good strong voice beforehand, and then afterwards it was weakened, a little bit raspy, and I couldn't project and I couldn't force anything, and it was tough. So because of that, it reduces certain numbers of risk when it comes to having surgery in your neck. So suddenly your left laryngeal nerve isn't a concern anymore, and you don't have to worry about paralysing someone's vocal cords. So we decided to be aggressive with treatment, and we were going to go and have surgery and remove this nodule that was growing. And by nodule I mean tumour or growth or thyroid tissue that shouldn't be there, cancer. That's when we say nodule, that's what we mean. So I go in to meet the surgeon. Surgeon scopes me, pops a camera down my nose, has a look down, and says, can you do this? And got me to make a bunch of thunder in the distance. Got to make a bunch of noises like e, ah, and all this stupid stuff. And meanwhile on the camera and on the screen out the corner of my eye, I could see both vocal cords going like this. So because both vocal cords are flapping, it meant that actually I've had fully functional vocal cords for an unknown length of time. Now, both vocal cords will not function if your left laryngeal nerve is removed. Certain things, the human body's really good at rewiring itself for sensation and muscle control and recovering from damage, but it can't do that. That's like removing a mains power cable and expecting your house lights to turn back on. Won't happen. So that basically meant that we had this trade-off moment where suddenly it increases the risk of the surgery dramatically, so the risk of my voice. And this really messed with me. This really knocked me sideways, because I'd really kind of set my heart on us preparing for having the surgery, removing some cancer, and definitely knowing it was gone. And this was the big thing for me, is knowing it was gone. It'd be removed and it was out of my body, and I didn't have to worry about that anymore. It was one less place to worry about. And the risks were minimal to me because I'd already had so much surgery, so much damage done already, that really it would have been a lot easier just to go in there and take it out and it'd be fine. So what it means is that I've been misinformed by the surgeon, which is great. Or the surgeon thought he'd done something and hadn't done it. He simply probably thought that's where it should be, go in, scoop it out. I had a lot of cancer in my neck when I had my dissection done, so I'm generally reluctant to jump to incompetence as an excuse, as a reason, and I have never had, well, this has never been simple, has it? This cancer, and me having it has never been simple. So it has been a bit of a shock, and it really threw me off. Excuse me. And because of that, they cancelled the surgery 2 days before. I had started to have a break from my medication, my cabozantinib, and I had stopped taking my blood thinners, and I started using a special wash in preparation, this antibacterial wash. Been in for my pre-operative assessment, all those things to make sure, done my COVID swabs, to get my bloods done, and then I get a phone call telling me that we're not doing the surgery, and I was absolutely gutted. Best way to put it. Shocked. I have real problems reconciling, and I'm still having issues reconciling the reason why we think that it's too risky now, but it won't be too risky in the future. Doesn't really add up, does it? I mean, it will be just as risky, if not more risky, in the future. That's the way cancer works. It gets worse, especially when you're advanced in it. Makes it sound like I'm an expert in cancer. Cancer foo. No, if you've got to think about it, it's just going to continue to get worse, isn't it? Cancer does get worse, or it gets better. It rarely sits there not doing a lot, which I've had plenty of time of it doing that already. So it means my amount of time I've got for it to be doing that probably is going to be running out. We're on the clock here. So, yeah, that happened. Big shock. Really messed with me. Very angry. I was very angry by it. Very angry how the decision was made without me, and how when I've been trying to get the answers as to why this decision has been made that way, and to try and, as I said, reconcile the logic behind leaving it. Now, the nodule that's in my neck is in contact with my esophagus, food pipe, and to me, that can only get worse. That can only further invade the structure. Now, there was always a risk that I might have to be fed by NG tube after, and there's a risk that when they remove it, they'd have to remove some of the muscle around the esophagus, which in itself isn't necessarily a problem, but during the surgery, perforation was a risk. So I'd accepted that risk. I was fine with that one. I've been fed by NG tube before. It's fucking awful, but if you've got to do it to live, you've got to do it to live. Now, the losing the voice thing, I thought I already had and had recovered and didn't have to worry about it. And also in with that, so we find out that it's fully functioning. There's some atrophy to the left-hand side, which means that it was at some point not working. Now it is again. And there was a scan from around about this time last year where the vocal cord palsy on the left side was noted. So this time last year, it probably wasn't working. Or it wasn't moving entirely properly. Now, I don't remember my voice being any different from now to how it was last year. So, does that mean that was incorrectly observed? Maybe. Don't know. Because when you think about it, it is a snapshot in time. It could easily have been, it's a bit sluggish still, or maybe it's still not quite 100% perfect. And simply, that was spotted, and I know I swallowed whilst I was having the CT scan done, as it's coming through and it's doing its slices. So it's just a snapshot in time. And it's like if you try and judge growth via photographs, it's not very easy. It's very clear if it's a big difference, if it's a small difference. You could sit there going back and forth between them, and you wouldn't be able to tell. So that's kind of where we are. Things have been very much up in the air. I've got a meeting with the oncology team next week, and also with the surgeons next week as well, to have a chat with them, explain to them, and get them to explain to me why we think not having surgery is a good idea. Overall quality of life is the answer. I know what the answer is, but I need to know the logic behind it, and I need to know really the reason why we're not doing something about it now when it's easier versus later on. I don't want to be left in a situation where suddenly it's grown and we get this answer of, well, it's too late, nothing we can do. Tough. And then I'm like, well, fuck me, right? I guess. And I'm feeling a little bit like I'm being pushed towards a scrap heap. Radiotherapy is an option, proton beam therapy is an option. It's surgery, they said, isn't an option because of the vocal cord nerve. And then we've got radioactive iodine, which of course isn't an option because it is, I'm non-responsive to it. Great. What we do know is the nodule in my neck is thyroid cancer. Not poorly differentiated, just thyroid cancer. So I have had a mixture of different thyroid cancers in my neck at one time. So what's growing there is simply follicular thyroid cancer, not poorly differentiated, which is weird. Because that's where I had my neck dissection done, and what was removed was poorly differentiated thyroid cancer. So a very weird situation to be in. Things are complicated. Cancer is complicated. Now, in with that complication, finally, and this is going to probably make a lot of people happy, I booked a holiday. And we're going away. And it's only in a couple of weeks. And we're going to go to somewhere really lovely. Going to Mexico, which is going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take a break from my meds, get on a plane, go to Mexico, have beautiful, beautiful beaches. Going to try and swim with whale sharks. Drag my wife, who suffers with really bad motion sickness, onto a boat. Try and do something fun. Something really nice, which is just for us. Like something really selfish, just for us. And I am really looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. But it's going to seem like a disproportionate amount of time between vlogs. I know how something affected me as big as it did when really it's good news. When you think about it, it's good news that you're mostly stable, have a stable disease, and your vocal cords work. But then the function doesn't matter when the performance is the same. So to me, it doesn't make a huge difference. What it does mean is that it limits treatment options again, which is the thing that messed with me. But either way, fuck all that. I'm going to go on holiday and I'm going to really enjoy it. Can I get travel insurance? Fuck no. I've been looking at that today and it's very, very expensive. So we've been struggling there. Yeah, it's thunder in the background. Poor old Alfred does not like it. The place you can see behind me, in case you're wondering, that's Perranporth, which could be a tropical beach, but it's not. It's in Cornwall. My favourite place in the UK, without a doubt, even. But yeah, I've had some alright times since. It's been my birthday. It was my birthday last weekend. 4 days ago, and I turned the grand old age of 38. And I've got to say, I'm looking at it with this white beard. As you can see, my hair has continued to be wonderfully silver. But yeah, that's it really. I don't have a huge amount to talk about or add on. I'm doing my best to make things match up and meet up in my head and understand why decisions have been made that they have. I'm sure once I speak to the surgeons and the oncology team, then we'll have a better idea. And I'm sure once we have the next set of imaging done, which will probably be in a month or so, then we will know more as to whether or not this is growing, and if we need to do anything about the thing down here. So this is a complicated one, really fucking complicated, from what I can tell, because it's like tucked away behind your heart and stuff. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to deal with. Hopefully I won't have to. That's ominous. But that's it, really. That's all I've got to talk about. Overall, health-wise, it's been shit. As in, I have been having diarrhea a lot due to the cabozantinib, which has been quite unpleasant. I lost a couple of kilos again, which is bad. So now I'm really kind of like fighting to rehydrate, put weight on, eat as much as I can, which can be tough when you're on the number of drugs I'm on. They can really kind of mess with you a little bit. Also, we found out that my vitamin D is low, or has been low, so I have been taking vitamin D supplements as well. Another thing, my thyroglobulin, which is the measure of how much thyroid cancer, it's an indicator, not a direct measurement, is now up to 4,700, which has jumped up from 3,400, which is a big increase, despite there not being a large amount of growth. So that's interesting. That's something we have to keep an eye on. I think it might be an anomalous result. It might have been when I had just had a break from treatment, which I think it was. So because of that, we're going to be redoing bloods next Monday and going from there, and then having another look at it, I guess, and seeing if it's higher or lower, and who knows what. Complicated. Things don't sound great on paper. Don't sound great when I'm saying it out loud. But that's having cancer. Things aren't great. Also, I have threatened we're going to do a live stream. I spoke about doing a live Q&A session. We're going to do it. We're going to plan it in. And we're going to do it for next Friday, which is Friday the 8th of July. That's a surprise for my wife. She didn't know that. She will, of course, be joining me, so she'll be answering your questions as well. So yeah, Friday the 8th of July, we'll be sitting down at 6 PM BST, and we'll be having a chat, and you guys can ask questions live on YouTube and get them answered. And we will answer them. So questions for me, questions for her, questions for Alfred. I do not expect decent responses from him. He's an arsehole, he's a cat. But I'm going to call the video there because it's 17 minutes long, which is way too long. None of you are going to be watching by now, so I'll have to do an announcement about the live stream on the community page. But right, as I said, 8th of July, 6 PM BST, live Q&A session. So, gonna call time. You made it this far. You want to know what to write in the comments section. And I've got very little, but I'm going to say sombrero because I'm going to go to Mexico. So why not? Put sombrero down in the comment section, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure someone else might find this interesting. Hopefully they do. Hopefully it helps. As usual, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.